There.
6:39.
She there?
Can't see what your finger there.
That's funny.
It's recording.
No, click on attendees.
Yeah, it already sent.
It's recording now. Yes, it is.
Allison, you recording?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we
All
are.
right, I'm gonna call the special meeting to order at 6:40 and ask Diane Cinto to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
That's not what he got.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before I turn the meeting over to Ken to go through the agenda and the budget, I want to give you some big picture items and a few things that are changes and things, remember, a budget is a snapshot in time. And in Naugatuck, and I'm sure most bigger towns, things change every day. So what we're talking about tonight is the budget as it exists today and as we plan to present it with the most current information that we have. So the first thing to remember in going through this process is that there will be an implementation of 40% of rebound. In other words, 40% of the new values from reval will be used to calculate our taxes, to calculate our revenue, and we will work from there. Next year, we will add an additional 35% from reval, and the year after, we will add the final 25%. The reason we're going with those numbers is the state will not let you do less than 25% in any given year. We asked to do 40, 20, 20, 20, but they said no. Just remember, this is 40% of reval. If you look at overall spending, the overall spending is up 3.76%. That is on the Board of Ed side and the town side together. So that's a pretty good number. Thirdly, if we adopted every penny of what we're talking about tonight, there would be a 3 mil reduction in the mill rate in the first year of reval. That's just something to put into your head. And there are a few things I'm going to point out that we've made, subject to approval here, that we've changed in the budget to make it more accurate and consistent with, I'm going to say, a whole host of issues. I'll start off by saying on the Board of Ed side, we have worked out a budget where there is a $300,000 reduction, which would put them at $2,662,000, which is the amount I'm recommending and Allison is recommending for the Board of Ed budget, a $300,000 cut. We've increased postage because we want to send out reminders, several reminders this year, because a lot of people, when you talk to them and they're late, they don't know why they're late. They missed the bill, they didn't understand it, they don't understand 2 bills a year or something. So sending out reminders will be helpful and will increase the collection rate. We're working off of a collection rate of 97.25, which is 1/8 higher than last year, which was 97 1/8. Number one, we're already collecting that number. And number two, we believe the additional notifications and reminders will put us well past 9.25. We have, as of today, we have, I'm going to say, enticed our grant writer to become a full-time borough employee, which is a really good thing for the borough. She's already been helpful in getting 2 big grants, and we're working on, I'm going to say, 7 others. And she will now be a full-time borough employee, and we're going to need to back that up with some additional staffing in the finance department, not for finances, but to keep track of the grant money. And when you get state or federal grants, you have to dot your I's and cross your T's and do everything right. And it would overburden the finance office. So we added that position. We added $20,000 to the assessor's budget to bring in a part-time person to help out. And we have reduced elections by $75,317 because we know we're not going to be subject to that new law this year, maybe next year. So when we go through the budget tonight, and we're going to go through, every section, those are the only changes to what you've already seen. And we will go through each item. As the changes come up, either Allison or I will call them to your attention if you don't see them on the charts. And I think that's the starting point. So the intention is that we go through everything tonight, and if anyone wants to make a change, a plus or a minus, they would vote against the motion and suggest a change. So we've already done this twice before, so this is our 3rd time through. But the long and the short of it is that if everything remains the way it is right now, there will be a 3 mil rate reduction. There will be a further reduction next year and a further reduction the year after over the 3 years of reval. And if you spend more money, the mill rate would not go down as much. If you spend less money, the mill rate will go down more. So we're starting off with everything that we've already talked about, plus the new items is in the budget right now. And any changes to that will have to be brought up as we go through each item. So let me stop there and see if there are questions before we start. All right, good. So at this time, it's an honor and a privilege.
Thank you. Okay.
To turn the meeting over to Ken Hanks, who will appoint alternates and go through the entire agenda.
Okay, first off, all finance board members are present. So Elma and Teresa, while you will not be voting members tonight, please feel free to participate, and your opinions are absolutely valued. So you still do that. As a comment I want to make is I've been involved in the budget process here as a board member for 3 years, and as a department head or partial department, junior department head for 30 some odd years. I don't think I've ever seen the highest level of Burgess participation in the budget process this year, as long as I can remember. So I think that's one of the things the Burgesses that showed up, either zoomed in or came in person to the budget process. We've seen it too often that the Burgess that misses all the workshop meetings, and then this meeting is asking questions that were answered and asked back in January. So it's good to see the Burgesses engaged in the whole process, and thank you for your time on that. As Pete mentioned, as far as the individual motions, if there's going to be a change, either plus or minus, We're gonna make the motion as presented. When we get to the discussion, if there's gonna be a change and we decide to change it, we need to vote the motion down and then reintroduce a new motion with the new value. It's just a little procedural thing. I went over this with Nancy this morning and we should be all set to go. So let's, as far as the motions, Burgess Neff is going to read all the motions. James Higgins will second all the motions, just so we can keep it consistent throughout the evening. And good to go. Okay, Bob, you're up.
The motion that the administrative budget be accepted as presented, the amount of $315,043.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Motion that the town hall budget be accepted as presented, the amount of $139,558.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And just a note on the administrative budget for Nancy, there was one abstention, that was Fran. Nancy's on, right? Yes, she's on. Okay. Okay, Bob, go ahead.
Motion that the townwide activity budget be accepted as presented, the amount of $2,516,865.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Well, here's one never change.
Motion that the Department of Finance budget be accepted as presented in the amount of $782,029.
Second.
Discussion?
Question,
Yes.
question.
Yes, good.
Pete had indicated that the grants writer is now in this particular department.
Yes, but we need to
What
change
was
it.
the, what was the reason to hire her as an employee as opposed to keeping her as a contractor?
He was being solicited by other towns and we want her to dedicate 100% of the time to the borough.
And what's her actual salary?
80,000.
Okay, thank you.
It'll be a separate contract on the borough board agenda next week.
Thank you.
We need to add, we need to change this amount?
Well, I think it's already in there.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
already.
that is,
It
That
is.
is the final number.
oh, this is final number. Okay,
All of these are the final number.
they are final. Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All in favor? Any further discussion? Bruce?
Just point of order,
Yes.
if we approved the other number last week at the finance board meeting.
We didn't take a vote on those, so.
That was just a recommendation.
Oh,
Those
okay,
are consensus.
okay,
Okay.
thank you. Just want to make sure that we don't get.
Yeah.
No, you're good point. Thank you. Okay, any further discussion on Department of Finance? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Motion that the probate court budget be accepted as presented, the amount of $74,546.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the election budget be accepted as presented in the amount of $142,838.
Second.
Discussion. And this also is reflecting that change in the reduction in payroll because of the new election law. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the tax department budget be accepted as presented, the amount of $268,767.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll just note that postage went up $8,000 in that budget. I think that was
Correct.
And that's with the new postal rate.
right.
Motion that the property assessment budget be accepted in the amount of $456,610.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to building inspector budget be accepted as presented, amount of $286,926.
Second.
Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the IT budget be accepted in the amount of $1,141,891.
Second.
Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to town clerk budget be accepted as presented, amount of 209,437.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion that the Naugatuck Event Center budget be accepted, the amount of 130,500.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the NEDC budget be accepted at 92,000.
Okay, Bob, hold 1 second.
Yep.
Note Wayne as a abstention on, no, I think Event Center.
I'm sorry?
No, he's making a note here for one abstention on that last item.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead with NEDC, Bob.
92,000.
92,000, okay.
Second.
Any discussion? Opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Motion to land use budget be accepted in the amount of 182,982.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, good. Motion carries.
Motion that the legal department budget be accepted in the amount of 325,000.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the estimated wage increase be accepted in the amount of 207,990.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
A lot of energy with that eye. Come on. Okay, motion carries.
Motion the human resource budget be accepted in the amount of 103,044.
Second.
Discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the police department budget be accepted as presented in the amount of 8,252,986.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the fire department budget be accepted in the amount of 5,015,319.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And I abstain.
Motion that the animal control budget be accepted in the amount of 111,705.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion that the NEMAC budget be accepted in the amount of 102,478.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Grants abstaining. Okay.
Motion East Side Fire Station budget be accepted in the amount of 6,900.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining for that one.
Motion that the safety patrol budget be accepted in the amount of 3,000.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstention?
I'm not abstaining from that, but I just want to let it be noted that that's actually search/safety patrol.
Okay. So noted. Okay. You got about,
Okay, give motion that the fire police budget be accepted in the amount of 15,000.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Grant, do you abstain on this one? Fire police?
Yeah, I will abstain.
Okay. So noted. Motion carries.
Gray area.
Motion that the social service budget be accepted in the amount of 31,733.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the youth service budget be accepted in the amount of 28,906.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the water pollution control budget be accepted in the amount of 4,171,755.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion that the senior center budget be accepted in the amount of 90,560.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just a bit of discussion is, the recent event they had at the events at the senior center, the wellness program. far, what they got in-kind services far outweighs the $2,400 increase. It was given to the seniors, this past week, somewhere to the tune of close to $50,000 of in-kind services that one day were given to seniors.
Yes. Harvey does a great job out there.
He's the perfect person for that job.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the Public Works Department budget be accepted in the amount of $7,027,605.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion the Engineering Department budget be accepted in the amount of $387,38.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion that the debt service budget be accepted as presented in the amount of $14,694,243.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the pension budget be accepted in the amount of $3,339,108.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you have a question?
Sure.
The special, okay, keep going down, get now. The special department hypertension, yep.
Yeah, that should be reducing. Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the insurance budget be accepted in the amount of $14,782,648.
Second.
Any discussion? All
See,
in
there's
favor?
a reduction there. That's something that we didn't just, so there's a reduction in the employee.
In the insurance reserve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the community service budget be accepted in the amount of $1,868,363.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Motion that the general budget be accepted in the amount of $100,500.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion that the reserve fund budget be accepted in the amount of $2,795,054.
Second.
Any discussion? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Is this the correct number for contingency being 0?
Yes,
Yeah, we set it aside last year in perpetuity, so,
we created a contingency fund.
created, in essence, a reserve contingency account.
So basically contingency funds off budget.
Yes, all good.
Okay. So can I have a motion that the contingency budget be accepted as presented in the amount of 0?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion that the Board of Ed budget be accepted as presenting the amount of $67,185,698.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm just curious that the reduction of the 300,000, where that's. Like where that is coming from out of their budget.
It's up to them, so we can't tell them how, where to take it from, but they'll have to decide that. I can't,
Is there anything, are you able to let us?
well, they're learning about it now, and they'll have to, go back and make that determination. I did talk about it with the superintendent, so, he has a plan. I don't really know what it is. It's not our fault.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Any further
Yes,
discussion?
you're right, the taxpayers' money, but they have no say in where it goes.
Well, I understand that.
No, I agree.
My concern,
I'm sure we'd all like to
obviously,
know.
from this side of the, this side of what we're at, is that money away from things that are directly affected.
instruction directly contact children.
And putting them on the administrative side and the top-heavy side.
Yeah, that'd be nice,
Okay,
but we don't know, so.
okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed,
Opposed. also.
Okay, let me write that down. Who's opposed?
Jan,
Ian?
Bob, Neff, and myself.
Okay. Okay, motion still carries.
Is the revenue budget the 137 million?
137, 380, 320.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it
a
is.
motion that the revenue budget be accepted as presented in the amount of 137, 380, 325. You want the 35 cents?
Yes.
No, no,
Sure do.
no penny.
I'll second.
Let the pennies hit.
Just one comment on that. The revenue budget does not include any money from the fund balance, which puts us on a path to go for a credit rating. So
That's the first time in a few years.
That's a
too.
big thing. It's something the finance board has been working toward over the last 4 years. And we did it gradually, and getting to this point is a good milestone. I wish Dan Sheridan was here to see it, but not using the fund balance at all, even though we make it up over the course of the year, is a positive step to get to a AAA credit.
What's our credit rate? We're double A?
We're 2 notches off, so with a positive outlook. So,
We'll get there.
so, I think first of all, you have to do this and then maintain it for a couple of years. And then we should be pretty close.
Any further discussion on revenues? All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Before I adjourn the meeting, this public hearing is 2 weeks from tonight at the Board of Ed. And then the following Wednesday, we'll have the final adoption of the budget with the same format. Motion to adjourn.
Comment,
Okay, Bob,
comment?
go ahead.
Okay. This is the first year in a long time that we have not made any major cuts to a budget. And I'm going back 30 years.
You're correct.
There's only 4 areas of this budget that you could possibly cut from. And those are, well, I want to say 5. Those are the major ticket items such as police, fire, public works, reserve, and Board of Ed. I think it would be in our best interest to go to each one of those departments and ask them if there's any place in their budget that could possibly cut and see where it puts us at that point. I'm not sure that we need every single reserve item that we've got in the budget. It's an awful lot. And I think that maybe some of these items can be pushed out for next year, but this is my opinion, so.
I'm just gonna say, Bob, that that's where we started with them. And we've taken not a lot out at the finance board level, but in the preliminary rounds, quite a bit was taken out and discussed before we even got here. So, that's pretty much, I think, why the budgets were a lot tighter that we reviewed this year, because we went over all of them in detail before they even submitted.
2,649,000. We reduced 2,649,000 from the original presentation.
Yes, so you mean before we came here?
Yes.
Correct,
From
we
the-
reduced.
From the initial presentations to tonight.
Oh, okay.
My last opinion will be on the Board of Education side. I think that they are extremely top-heavy administratively in their budget. And whatever number we are presented with, at the end of the day, that's the number that we have to stay with for next year. Because we can never go backwards with the Board of Ed because of the way their system is set up. Again, my opinion.
I'd like to speak. I back up Bob Neff to the hilt on what he just said.
Okay, and Megan Smith just chimed in, she also agrees, so.
What?
Megan Smith just messaged, she also agrees with those. Okay, any further discussion before we
Does that
turn?
mean she voted down?
Did she vote aye? I don't think I- Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I'm gonna adjourn. We'll see you
7:10 p.m.
7:10 p.m. Thank you very much.
That's gotta be the fastest.
Yes, it
Thank-
was.
Thank you.
Remember the 5 hour.
Night, everybody.
You should get out at 1 a.m.
I remember those.
1 a.m.
Zooming from my basement at midnight. It's like, not.
Oh, see,